What's good, everybody? It's Mikeman WBA here, back again with a new series for you all on YouTube, and this one is going to be something very different to the previous series. Before, we were in control of Progress Wrestling, we were in control of a company, we were booking it, we were running it as if we were in control, but this one is completely different. Instead of running a company, we are in fact just going to be a spectator on this save. And a spectator specifically of 11 individuals who are here. We have 11 individuals created by people in the TEW community, or people that I know through the Fantasy Bookers Discord and another couple of Discords I am in. So we're going to very quickly go through the list just to introduce you to everyone here, and also just to sort of build us into the save. So up first we have here CAW-reer Nick. It's like Archeos. His name on Discord is Archeos out of nowhere. So he's CAW-reer Nick. He's a Belgian wrestler based in Central Europe. He is a regular wrestler, so no specific wrestling style. I believe he's the only person that has the regular wrestler style, and as you can see, very good stats. Everybody in the database, or these 11 people, all had the same base stats, so it was pretty much 40s across most of it, 80s in a couple of stats as well. So obviously very good. We want these people to do really well. We want them to be at the top of the business, and just to see which one of them will be the best. Being just a regular wrestler, I upped a couple of the 40 stats to 60 for Archeos, and so he's rocking these stats at the minute. And yeah, hopefully, based in Central Europe, he might be able to get work for companies like WXW, or maybe companies in Britain as well. But yeah, regular wrestler, very good all around. Next up we have Damon Colt. Now, Damon Colt was, when I find it, he was another Discorder, Devil Cyborg on the Fantasy Bookers subreddit. He is based in the north of Britain. He is English. He is a technician, another toned lightweight. As you can see, very proficient in chain wrestling, mat wrestling and submissions, but doesn't quite have the same sort of brawling and flashiness that Archeos does. Just before, I forgot to mention it before, Archeos Nick, his finishers are the Archeos, which is an RKO, the Gallish Jail, which is the Hell's Gate, and the Tyrannus Call, which is the Black Mass Kick of Aleister Black's. Damon Colt has two finishers. He has the Cyber Strike and the Thunder Bomb. That's what I was given, no description on what they are. I don't know if they're actual moves or not. I think the Thunder Bomb's probably just a power bomb. Cyber Strike, I'm not sure. But yes, we have a technician from Britain, so hopefully he'll be looking to get into companies like Rev Pro and Progress as well. Although, as you can see, I have set all of these guys to be able to work in the entire world, so there is no limit on the companies that they can work for, mainly because of the next guy, Jay Black, submitted by 370 Gaming, of course, on YouTube and Twitter. So Jay Black is an Australian based in New Zealand, and he is another technician, lightweight, so again very proficient in chain wrestling, mat wrestling and submissions. Very good. Everybody, I should mention, starting out with 0 popularity across the board, and everyone being 17 in their rookie year, just to keep it on a level playing field at the start. Everyone a blank slate, but with very, very impressive stats. Next up we have Ligeramente Divertido, who is mildly amusing on Twitter and YouTube, of course. This is his pick, a masked Scottish flabby middleweight luchador, because why not, apparently. with the finishers. I forgot to do Jay Black's finishers. I'll go back and do those in a second. But Divertido's finishers are the Falcon Arrow and the Rings of Saturn. So being a luchador, even a flabby middleweight one, being a luchador, Divertido has impressive aerial flashiness and athleticism. All of those are going to help him fly across the ring up in Scotland. And if we go to Jay Black's finishers, when I find my list, we have the Blade Runner is his finisher. I'm not quite sure what the Blade Runner is, whether that's like a sling blade or whether it's like Jay White, something like his finisher. I'm not too sure. Following that, we have Mr. Lidls, another guy from the Discord. He is a technician, but a skinny heavyweight. As such, again, actually forgot to do his chain wrestling, his mat wrestling, and his submissions. So before we carry on, I will have to up those just to get him on the same level playing field as everyone else. I've obviously forgot to increase his stats. But the first American we have so far in the save, and the first heavyweight as well. So something a little bit different from Lidl's, and I'll make sure that I increase his stats before we continue. Next up, we have Nathan Coulson, who is NLG on YouTube, and Nathan Coulson 98 on Twitter. He is another luchador, a skinny lightweight, unlike Mildly. So that increased aerial flashiness and athleticism. Based in the north of Britain, and he will be hoping to be maybe the new Will Ospreay in Britain, but maybe without the douchiness. Next up, we have Richard Dunsmore, who is another one of my Twitter friends, Tom, at ThatCuntTem on Twitter. He is a Puro, I think the only Puro style wrestler in the save. So he has that increased brawling Puro Reisu and power stat. Also British, based in the central British Isles. And I believe the only striker-based wrestler that we will be following. So hopefully he will show that Puro style is the dominant style in the world. Next up, we have The Answer, who is a Discord member, J Mike from the Fantasy Bookers. He is another lightweight technician, so that chain wrestling, mat wrestling, and submission technician. Obviously, a very popular style of wrestling amongst the internet community, because a lot of people wanting to do that. Another American based in New England. Following that, we have The Who. You guys might know him as the mod maker of the Real World mods and the Whoniverse, and recently the local to global mod, where there's just lots of local companies, no big companies, and you just take over who you want. They're all sort of community made companies, but you take over whichever company you want, you hire whoever you want, and you try and rise up to become the dominant company in the world. He's come in with another English technician, but a flabby middleweight, and he is based in the south of the British Isles with that increased chain and mat based skills. Next up, we have Trip Kendrick, another Discord input, this one from Mr. Maggot on the Fantasy Bookers Discord. This guy's a Scottish spot monkey. He's skinny and he's small, and he'll be hoping to slip through everyone's fingers on the way to the top. Spot monkey giving him increased aerial flashiness and I believe athleticism. Yeah, so a bit like the luchadors. Spot monkey giving him increased flying ability and athleticism. So he'll be hoping that his high spots will propel him up the card in a major company soon. And finally, we have Wild Sparrow, which I believe is just at Wild Sparrow YT on Twitter. and I believe he's also around 1 or 2 Discords as well. But we have another European, a Portuguese based in Iberia. Oh no, we have 2 Puro guys, because I forgot Wild Sparrow was also a Puro style wrestler, but one based in Britain and one based in mainland Europe, so that increased brawling, Puro and power for Wild Sparrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim forward. We're here at the start of January 2018, accidentally on Tuesday, because I pressed the wrong button. When I went to click on settings, I click save. Not save, continue, because my brain isn't all there at the moment. But we've had a look at all the workers involved. We're going to sim forward 1 year and see where everyone is in their careers then. So it'll only be a second for you, it'll be a little while for me, but I will see you in a minute. Okay guys, we are back. We are 1 year on, January the 1st, 2019. So we're going to have a quick look at the awards, and then we'll have a quick look at how everyone has done so far. And then we will wrap up this episode for today. And then in the next episode we will go over 2020, 2021 and maybe 2022 as well. But first up, as you might expect, the Wrestler of the Year 2018 is Kazuchika Okada, winning this for the first time. The Company of the Year is New Japan Pro Wrestling, as you would expect. This one, the 10th time they have won the trophy. The Team of the Year, and it happens to me a lot, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but New Japan always seem to reform the Golden Lovers, and they have won the Tag Team of the Year award for 2019, or 2018 technically. Match of the Year went to Okada versus Kenny Omega from the New Japan Pro Wrestling New Beginning Tour in February. We'll see what that got in a second. Probably a 99 or a 100, you would expect. Show of the Year went to Sakura Genesis 2018. So all the awards so far going to New Japan. Young Wrestler of the Year is Konosuke Takeshita. So unfortunately, not any of our young talent. But there's still plenty of time for them to get in and amongst the awards. But Konosuke Takeshita from AJPW and DDT, the 23-year-old winning Young Wrestler of the Year. Veteran Wrestler of the Year went to Togi Makabe. Female Wrestler of the Year, Ayoko Hamada. Smash Wrestling in Canada actually got Most Improved Company of the Year. Independent Wrestler of the Year went to EC3. He's currently still at Impact, and in FIP he's the Impact Global Champion. Manager of the Year went to Paul Heyman. Announcer of the Year went to Tom Phillips, which is actually a big surprise. I don't think I've ever seen him win it before. And Colour Commentator of the Year going to Paul Heyman, with Referee of the Year going to Charles Robinson. So Japan dominating early on, with America making a late comeback at the end. But enough of that, let's get on to our little wrestlers here. And we start off with Arkel's Nick. Now you look at this and it does say unemployed, but he has in fact been working. You see actually some of his stats have increased as well. Because they are young, they are still going to improve. I believe I set their maturity age to like 30 or 35, something similar. So they will continue to improve for quite a while and just be quite phenomenal, really. But if we have a look at the employment history, actually we'll just have a look at the match history. You will see that he has in fact spent 3 months touring with FMW over in Japan, with his highest rating being a 55 C-. You see, before he joined, he had 2 independent tours over in Europe, 1 win and 1 loss. Before going over to FMW, looks like he had a little bit of a run with Sean Guinness, and then a couple of other matches, a couple against the Winger, or the Winger, not sure. and a couple of others, finishing the year with a 6-win, 9-loss record. So not great, but not terrible for your rookie year, especially going on tour in a foreign country. But a decent little start to the career for Arceus Nick. Next up we have Damon Colt, who, as we see, is still touring with Dragon Gate and is actually a main eventer. If we look at his popularity, very, very good. And in Japan, around the 60 mark, whereas if we look at Nick here, not the best, around 24 in Japan and Australia, and a little bit in Europe and the US. But if we have a look at Damon Colt, we have a look at his match history, you can see here obviously a lot more matches, and at the bottom here. So started off with a couple of independent shows, losing to Jimmy Villain and Prince Amin before picking up a win over Amir Jordan, before going to Japan, and is currently in the middle of what I assume will be a 5-month tour with Dragon Gate. He's currently been there for 4 months. His highest match, or his highest rating, being a 77B. And if you look, that was against, if we can find it, it was against Dragon Kid, a loss to Dragon Kid in the 3rd week of December. But we'll have a quick look, because you might see here mention of the franchise players, and that is Damon Colt's tag team, with his tag team partner of Stalker Ichikawa in Dragon Gate. They haven't had a title match yet that I could see, but they look like they're doing quite well. He does in fact have a 31 win, 1 draw and 20 loss ratio at the moment, so not bad, especially for a touring worker. But he is a main eventer, so maybe a couple of title opportunities on its way for Damon Colt. And interestingly, when I had a quick look earlier on, I did notice he did in fact have the highest wage demand. So if we wanted to hire him for the little company that I have gone from cult to local in a year, then it would cost us around $8,000 a month to do so on a written deal, or $1,700 per show for a pay-per appearance. Following on from Colt, we have Jay Black, as you see, another person touring with Dragon Gate. However, he is only an upper mid-carder with slightly lower popularity than Colt had. If we have a look at his match history, you will see again another one who is 4 months in to a run with Dragon Gate. However, his highest rating, after only one, probably due to him being based in Australia, only one independent show for him where he lost to B-Boy. He has gone to Dragon Gate, and he has got a highest match rating of 80, which is very impressive indeed. As you see, that's down here when Jay Black, John Hennigan and Yamato defeated Shingo, I think that's Shingo Takagi, Ryo Saito and Monday Ryu, getting an 80. That was at the Gate of Destiny 2018 event. I don't know if it's a pay-per-view for Dragon Gate, but I know it's an event. So an 80 overall match rating, not bad at all. Average rating of a 64 and a win-loss record of 23 wins, 1 draw and 21 losses, which is very impressive. As you see, had quite a few matches either with or against the other cause. As you can see, a lot of them made it to Dragon Gate. Probably because of their age, I would think. The fact they're so young, people not wanting to sign them to like pay-per appearance deals, but touring companies giving them the opportunity to grow with the veterans in the company. Next up, we have Ligeramente Divertido, the first person not in Japan at the moment. But if we have a look, you will see that he did actually spend a lot of time in Dragon Gate quite early on, actually, starting in March. Had a 5-month tour with Dragon Gate. As you see, another one with a lot of tag matches and some tag title matches here, you can see. So if we have a quick scroll through, you see an 82 in a loss to Yamato being his highest match rating. So I just noticed this as well actually, was in a loss to Keith Lee, got a 69 for the WWN Championship. I didn't see that one when I had a quick look earlier. So a couple of title opportunities for Divertido. We're going to have a quick look at just the title matches. So that's 1, 2, 3 two tag team title championship opportunities, 1 Triangle Gate opportunity, and 1 here. I'm not sure if they'll open the Brave Gate title on the line there, where he won the match by DQ, but unfortunately didn't retain or didn't gain the title. So not bad for Divertido. We'll have a quick look at who his tag partner is, and it is in fact Nathan Coulson as the Demolition Crew. So mildly amusing and NLG teaming up, the tag team between the two created wrestlers over in Dragon Gate. However, he has since left Dragon Gate and gone to Lucha Underground. He hasn't been there long. He's had 5 matches in 3 months, and as you see, NLG has gone with him, and they appear to be teaming fairly regularly over there as well. Next up we have Mr. Lidls, another one who was touring with Dragon Gate. If we have a look at his match history, he has been there for 4 months currently, starting off in September. Oh, wait, is that 5 months? No, 4 months. I can't count. Ignore me. 4 months following the 1 victory on the Independents. His run with Dragon Gate not quite gone as successfully as some of the others, only getting 18 wins, 2 draws and 21 losses, but still getting a highest match rating of 82, which is impressive. Like I said before, when we found out that Divertido had it, his 82 coming in on a loss to BB Hawk. So when they're put in against some of the top talent in these companies, they are pulling off good ratings and sort of holding their own against some of the main guys in the company. Next up, we'll have a quick look at Nathan Coulson, as we saw in that tag team with Divertido, and he has been touring for 5 months with Dragon Gate and 3 months with Lucha Underground, just like his tag team partner. So yet to see really in Lucha Underground whether they are actually going to carry on that team or whether that's just Dragon Gate exclusive. But quite a few good matches in here, but his highest match rating only being a 78, which was against... It was here when BB Hawk, Yamato and Shingo defeated Wild Sparrow and the Demolition Crew. So I say all 3. A whole team made up of our created wrestlers, taking on 3 of the biggest names in Dragon Gate, getting a 78, which is a very good match. And NLG ending the year with a 34 wins, 1 draw and 26 loss ratio, which isn't bad at all. And 4 tag team, or not, yeah, well, 3 tag team title opportunities and 1 Triangle Gate opportunity for NLG over in Dragon Gate. Nothing yet in Lucha Underground, where he's currently a mid-carder. But not a bad career for Nathan Coulson so far. Now, as we look down, we have Richard Dunsmore. And as you see, he is actually the second member of our crew not to make the Power 500. And if I show you his popularity, you see, not done a lot. That is because, if we have a look, he went on tour with All Japan, and in his very first match picked up a major injury. If we have a look, detached his retina in his first match for All Japan, has been injured until very, very recently. Let's have a look. Doesn't actually say, but he was out for 6 months from June, so he's just come back. Just not long finished his tour with All Japan. So unfortunately for Dunsmore, not a great start to his career. Picking up 2 wins on the independents, one against the WHO, and having 1 match, 1 loss in All Japan before picking up that injury. So unfortunately not a lot happened for Richard Dunsmore. But as we move on to the answer, we have another man in Dragon Gate, and if we'll have a quick look at his profile, we will look at his match history and see he is a current 4-month veteran of Dragon Gate with an 80 highest match rating. So a lot of people getting in and around that 80 rating. As we see here, it was a 3 versus 3 match where Shingo Takagi, Masaki Mochizuki and BB Hulk went to a time limit draw with Yamato, John Hennigan and the answer. So a decent match there. The answer ending the year with a 26 win, 2 draw and 19 loss ratio, which isn't bad for a gaijin in Japan, especially in his first year. No tag teams formed, and 1 title match to his name when he was defeated by Flamita to retain, for Flamita to retain the Open the Brave Gate title in a 73 near the end of December. So I think he has around 1 month left on his tour with Dragon Gate. We'll have to see where he goes from there. Next up we have the WHO, someone who is currently unemployed. If we have a look at his match history, you'll see 4 independent matches, and that is it. If we have a look at his employment history, hasn't been signed. As far as I can tell, I haven't done anything different to the WHO than I have for anyone else. So unfortunately, he is just not being used. All I can think is that when Dragon Gate and people came looking for people, they signed all of these people and just didn't have space for him. So there's not a lot to say about the WHO so far. Hasn't done anything. Next up though, Trip Kendrick. As you can see, another man who has made it to Lucha Underground, and yet again it is following a 5-month tour with Dragon Gate. He's then moved over to Lucha Underground. Only had the 1 match so far in a 3-on-3 tag, but he did come up on the winning side there. And as you see, he has a perfect, well, I say almost perfect, 50-50 ratio with 28 wins, 1 draw and 28 losses, and his highest match rating being a 79 here, defeating Masaki Mochizuki and Naruki Doi right near the end of his run with Dragon Gate. Literally the day before his tour finished, he had this match, his best match for the company, against 2 of the biggest stars in the company. A 79, not quite as high as some of the other Dragon Gate guys, but his average rating still up there, so still being very consistent. If we have a look at any title matches, he's had 3 title matches. As you can see, he is in a tag team. We'll have to have a quick look at that soon, but 2 tag team title shots and 1 Open the Brave Gate title shot, unfortunately coming out on the losing side in all of them. And actually this this match here being the lowest rated match he's had so far. Actually no, that's a lie, that's just his lowest rated title match, being nearly his lowest rated match so far. So a few people having title opportunities, unfortunately not coming out on the winning end. But if we have a quick look who his tag team was, he is in the tag team double top with Takashi Okamura. So getting thrown in with one of the local guys. And yeah, just that 1 match in Lucha Underground. So we have a couple of people with Lucha Underground at the minute that will hopefully be able to show what they can do to a US crowd. As we look at our final competitor for today, we have Wild Sparrow. Look, currently unemployed. However, if you look at his match history, you'll see it's a very different story. Not fresh by any means, but following a 5-month tour of Dragon Gate, he's currently unemployed and looking for work. And you might think, oh, if he hasn't been used since July, maybe his time didn't go so well for him. But then you look, his highest match rating was an 82, which was up here, and I lost to Yamato. He's been in a tag team called the Patriots, and if we look at his title matches, you'll see lots of title matches, and actually a Open the Triangle Gate winner alongside Jay Lethal and Gamma. I don't know if there's another name to Gamma there. I haven't looked. I'm not sure. But they won that. They retained it once against Flamita Kenichiro Arai and Monday Ryu. He then, in singles competition, defeated Arai again for the Open the Brave Gate title. Defended it against Kazai. Defended the 6-man title against Yoshida and the Millennials. Defended the Open the Brave Gate title again against Horiguchi and Ryo Sato. And then 2 more defences of the 6-man titles against K-Ness and the Demolition Crew and Kenichi Arai and the Killers, meaning he left the company, he left Dragon Gate as both the Open the Brave Gate champion and the Open the Triangle Gate champion, didn't lose his titles, and then Dragon Gate didn't bring him back, which is probably the most interesting thing that's happened so far. As you see, after he left in July, has just done the 1 match against Tristan Archer, which I find bizarre that nobody signed him since. But yeah, and you can probably tell from those matches there, the Portuguese man, his tag team partner in the Patriots, is the American Jay Lethal. I believe he's American. I hope he's not Canadian. That'll be awkward. I think he's... If I see... I should have just typed his name in. Jay Lethal. Yeah, Canadian... American. The current Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion was Sparrow's partner. And it's bizarre that he hasn't come back. One of the most over guys in the company. You have to say that 5 months without a company has really ruined his power ranking, because you'd think having won 2 titles he'd be up there, but only in 206th. The highest person on the power rankings actually was Divertido at 122. A couple of guys in the 150s, 160s. Sparrow at 206. Kendrick's got 172. Colt at 210. And then Arceus, Nick, the Ants, Richard Dunsmore and The Who, all unranked so far. But that is all for year 1 of this save. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. A little bit over the place at the minute, but once I get a couple of these under my belt, will be a lot more streamlined and I'll know what I'm looking for. But interesting so far, I think. Hopefully The Who will finally get booked. Hopefully Dunsmore can come back from that crippling injury. And hopefully Wild Sparrow finds himself a new company to prove how good he is. Because I think he showed it in Dragon Gate. I don't understand why they haven't brought him back. But that's all for this episode, guys. A bit longer than the rest of the series will be. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.